Daniel Negreanu looks down to King 10 offsuit, a hand with decent equity in a four-way pot. Against him is Elizabeth Houston, who opens to a Queen Jack offsuit. Let's see who will the poker gods bless this time.
See that? Cheap flop.
Reynolds folds.
Also makes it easier to call this 3-bet from Tony G.
He raises to 2,000. Queen Jack for the cannon. She calls out of position. So does Daniel.
And like that, Williams built himself his own little pot odds.
He calls too. 4-person party to the flop.
The flop comes 8 Queen Jack Rainbow, which is perfect for Houston. She is looking at top 2 pair with no danger of a flush and only a potential straight or a pocket pair being in her way. Her odds look great, but I think she should have bet harder before Negreanu had a chance to see more of the community cards.
I fold.
Thank you, William.
With the bet sizing being insufficient, even Tony G with his mid pair of jacks that have 2% equity will make the call. The turn delivers the 4 of spades. Things couldn't have been better for Houston. Pocket 4s would have probably folded, same as the pocket 6s from earlier, but she is still afraid of the flush and straight draw. That's why she fires a bet for a bit over half the pot, which I think will be yet again not enough to get Negreanu off his hand.
Daniel's checking out her stack, knowing she probably has something strong enough to lose it all if he does make the nuts.
Negreanu casually calls her $15,000 bet as predicted. But at least Tony G and his adventuristic jacks are gone. Now let's see what the turn will bring for Negreanu. And it is the ace. What a cooler this will be at the end.
That's Daniel's gin card, and this could get ugly for the cannon. I expect her to bet here.
Now she checks.
Somehow she knew to slow down. Daniel's got the nuts. Let's see how much he thinks she'll pay off.
50.
If Elizabeth has watched the show at all, she would know Daniel doesn't bluff raise the river very often. No one does.
If Elizabeth makes this call, she'll have less than 30,000 remaining in her stack.
Call.
Ouch.
She sees it.
Damn it.
Phil Hellmuth is looking down at ace-king offsuit.
Nice. I'm going to straddle it.
Of course you are.
Pre-flop begins with a straddle from Tony G, a move designed to double the stakes and irritate the tighter players at the table.
I feel I should be winning more. I mean,
I feel like you should be
I made
too.
some, like, especially here to the Argentinian, I've been too generous.
Phil Hellmuth, sitting with ace-king offsuit, decides to punish this loose aggression. He raises to 2,800, a sizable raise meant to isolate the straddler and claim the dead money immediately.
There you go. He's going to make a move out of position again.
Against a player like Hellmuth, this hand is often dominated, but Tony relies on his ability to outmaneuver Phil post-flop
And I
rather
have
than
qualified.
pure card strength.
Calls.
Fortunately, you may double up.
Maybe.
He makes the call, setting the stage for a heads-up battle between the poker brat and the loudest mouth in the game. The flop is an absolute cooler.
I think this one, just take it, Phil. Don't even bother betting.
Phil bets 3K.
I was kidding you.
In a heads-up pot, this is a hand that Hellmuth considers invincible.
Oh my God, you're such an
I can fold this hand.
Oh, don't fold it. Just stick it in.
However, Tony G has flopped the absolute nuts. He knows that Phil is stubborn and will struggle to fold a big hand. He is building the pot while he knows Phil feels strong.
I got a flush draw, Phil. I'll be honest with you. If you want, I'll even show you one of my cards.
Maybe if he showed the jack of hearts.
I'm all in.
All right, cool.
Brutal.
I have a flush draw and a straight at the moment.
And a straight. Flop the nuts and look at this, both slow playing.
What are you slow playing here for? Just get it in. I mean, you know, how many times do you want to run it?
One's good.
I'm happy to run it 20 times. To have you like down on this.
Maybe we should run it 3 times. I don't know. What do you think? 3 times?
Yeah, 3 times at least will keep you in the game.
Yeah, I would do 3.
I've been deciding badly lately on how many times to run it.
It's all the same.
I'll let you choose, Tony. How about that?
3 times.
Okay.
I know, like the ace is coming, the first card. Ace
I
from
know.
space.
I ran it once, like the last 2 or 3 times, and every time I missed. So
I want to keep you in the game. That's why I want to run it like 8 times. You're going to catch one of them.
Your boy's all in with the worst of it right now.
Yeah, I just saw the hand.
Yeah.
There's the coach. He's in. You see the coach is there. Go and give him a massage. We've done it 3 times. He's been owned 2 out of 2 sometimes. The statistics are 100% owned by Tony G.
yeah, you've really been out
Pots
playing.
played, 100% owned.
I think Phil needs you.
He does need
I think Phil needs an ace or a king.
And then if Phil goes, then I need you. I'm his second.
Turn number 1. Phil makes a boat.
Oh!
Told you that ace is coming. I knew it.
Did you peel it off right away?
Yeah.
Still, you feel good, right? At least you're going to be in the game. I mean, you could have missed out every time. Give him one more ace to get the aces out of the way.
River wants a king.
And the king.
Oh,
Beautiful.
Sucks. Oh, that sucks.
That's being overqualified, Phil.
He slow rolled me. He's been like as bad as you can be. And of course they peeled an ace. I should not have run this 3 times.
I feel terrible, Phil. You're making me feel guilty. I'm sorry. I'm sorry I've been bashing up on you.
Tony, that's just you, Tony.
Sorry.
We all know that.
And imagine you're trying to take me on all the time. It's time to retire.
I'll play with you all the time.
Turn number 2. Deuce of diamonds, no help to Phil. Appropriate. Tony's acting kind of deucey.
You still got outs.
River number 2. Jack of spades, Tony wins.
Whoa, how close was that?
Not really all that close. Turn number 3. 7 of hearts.
My flush. It's a flash.
Here comes river number 3. Tray of spades, and Tony G gets 2/3 of the pot.
Unbelievable. It's just unbelievable. It's just so scary how bad I run on this show.
Yeah, you're gonna have your basically your money back. You're fine. And you're gonna lose a little bit. The tax. You're gonna pay tax, the Tony G tax, and just move on to the next hand. It's not even painful.
Phil Hellmuth is looking down at pocket jacks. Pre-flop begins with a move that is purely Hellmuthian. Instead of raising to build a pot with pocket jacks, he decides to limp, setting a trap that nobody asked for. This passivity invites a family pot. Ferdinand comes along with pocket 8s. Elke limps with king 3, and Aide Mosseri is allowed to see a free flop from the big blind with 10-7 offsuit. By refusing to raise, Phil has allowed a trash hand to realize its equity for 0 cost, a strategic error that allows the big blind to connect with boards they should never have seen. The action checks around to Ferdinand, who takes a stab at the pot with 1,200 holding his underpair. Mosseri springs into action immediately, check-raising to 4,400. This is a fast play strategy. He knows the board is wet and doesn't want to give free cards to straight draws.
I took one shot at it with my hand.
Hellmuth, trapped by his own cleverness, decides to flat call. In his mind, Mosseri is defending the blind with a draw or a 9. The turn brings the ace, a scare card that changes the texture but not the hierarchy. Mosseri keeps his foot on the gas, firing a bet of 10,000. It is a polarized sizing, asking Phil to decide if this is a bluff or a monster.
How much of that?
Hellmuth, stubborn as ever with his underrepresented jacks, makes the call. He is now purely bluff-catching, convinced that his pre-flop trap disguises his hand strength enough to induce Mosseri into spewing off chips with a straight draw. The river is the 10, giving Mosseri quad 10s.
All in.
Hellmuth folds.
Daniel Negreanu is looking down on king-queen offsuit. The table is 4-way after Tony G opens, and Viffer, Negreanu, and Scott Seaver all come along. That matters because equities flatten in multi-way pots. Single pair hands lose value while nutted, and draw heavy holdings gain. Tony G's range from early position in this lineup still contains suited connectors.
There's room for everyone to keep improving.
I mean, the way you guys all play, there's certainly tons of room.
Yeah.
Scott calls.
I'm gonna go with an old Hellmuth trick. Watch this, gentlemen. Check in the dark. How do you fade that? Seriously, check in the dark. I don't even want to see what's coming.
Checking through is revealing. On this texture, the pre-flop raiser has a lot of one pair and gut shot combinations that dislike being raised by 3 players.
See how that worked? Because if I wouldn't have done that, they would have been more scared. My turn, right?
Daniel's still open-ended.
Did you qualify?
Yes, I've qualified pretty comfortably at this point. Question is, how much do I want to put in there?
You checked.
No, I'm not. I'm not, for sure.
You're not checking?
Yeah. If you're folding any bet, you can just do that now. I'm going to put in...
The turn is the 7 of spades, a huge card for Tony G's side of the range, and a bad one for capped checkbacks. Negreanu leads $3,600 into the field, a small sizing that targets folds from the Broadway airballs, and denies equity to Queen 9, 9-8, and the club draws. Scott's call with Queen Jack keeps dominated queens in, but the raise from Tony G to $14,000 is the pivotal data point. After a street of passivity, that raise is heavily weighted to value.
If I win the pot, I'll give you your money back.
Negreanu's call with king-queen looks ambitious only if you ignore blocker logic. He removes the queen that completes Tony G's higher straight and retains outs to the ace or 9 to make his own. Scott correctly recognizes he's in kicker jail and releases.
Wow, that was a big sweat.
Took a long time. That speech really got him.
He made a big laydown just now.
The river is the 9 of diamonds. Range-wise, it's a dagger for Tony G. His made straight from the turn remains a straight, but Negreanu's king-queen now upgrades to the higher straight. When Negreanu fires $35,000, the story is polarized between exactly that high straight and bluffs that bricked clubs or random queen X that tried to push Tony G off a one-pair hand.
Are you also offering my 4,800 back if you...
Tony calls and Daniel wins a $100,000 pot.
I had the nuts on the turn. Wow, well done.
Bendinelli kicks things off with pocket eights. This is a hand that can be extremely powerful, especially in a heads-up match. With $7 million already in the pot, Bendinelli can extract a lot more value.
Oh boy, we got a set of 8s for Bendinelli.
Oh no.
Top pair for Guerrero.
With Guerrero's weak check, Bendinelli can now completely take over the pot. The only question is how big of a bet he makes. So Guerrero stays and makes the pot bigger. Bendinelli is not looking to let Guerrero see a cheap flop and fires a $2.5 million bet. That is almost a third of the pot. But with the top pair on the flop, Guerrero is not looking as if he will back down. He doesn't disappoint and calls Bendinelli's bet. This pot is getting enormous.
Turn is a
Oh,
jack.
wow.
Oh, no.
What a setup.
Oh, such a cold deck.
Cold deck city. Guerrero covered.
With an insane amount of luck, Guerrero pulls a third jack that completes his jack trips. This completely turns the game on its head, but only in Guerrero's head. Bendinelli is now sitting comfortable on a full house and is looking to extract even more value. Bendinelli is completely aware of how strong of a position he now finds himself in. That's why he fires a $5.5 million bet that is there to prevent weaker hands from playing for the river and maybe dissuade stronger opponents with weak mental game. But fortunately for Bendinelli this time around, Guerrero is anything but a poker player with weak mental game. He is completely unaware of the kind of trap he is walking in and confidently calls the enormous bet from Bendinelli.
River.
Oh
The
my
board pairs, but it's the 8.
No!
It's quad
No.
8 for Bendinelli.
Wow.
This is unbelievable. This is the coldest of decks. It doesn't get any colder than this, Maria.
I'm glad you got a sweatshirt for this hand, Nick.
Insane.
The turn delivers another 8, which completes the quads for Bendinelli, which I can't believe I am saying again in this video, but is even luckier than Guerrero's jack. Now Guerrero is first on the move. He has a big choice ahead of himself, and I am starting to believe, based on his previous ones, that he will make the wrong one. And the wrong one he does. He fires a slightly smaller bet of $3.8 million, which looks completely abysmal from where we are sitting. I can't think of a reason he would commit so hard to such a weak hand other than a bad earlier read. Bendinelli with his quads doesn't really have anything to think about, other than baiting Guerrero and paying even more on this disaster of a hand. What do you think? Will he bet half the pot, or will he go crazy and shove all in? Let me know in the comments.
Put this to bed. Announces all in. Guerrero hasn't snap called. There's just no way. There's the call from Guerrero. It's over.
Keating's looking down on ace-queen offsuit. Peter comes along with ace-7 suited, a hand that plays fine multi-way but is easily dominated by Keating's calling range. Stanley takes the button with Jack-10, a classic position hand that realizes equity well against 3 opponents. Keating flats pre-flop with ace-queen from the small blind instead of squeezing. Out of position and deep, that call invites dominated aces and worse queens to continue while avoiding a bloated pot against a raiser who can 4-bet. The flop favors ranges that arrived by calling. Keating's ace-queen makes second pair with the best kicker and holds the key blocker to Broadway. His call versus the c-bet is standard. Raising turns his hand into a bluff catcher against stronger kings and sets while isolating himself versus better. Peter's call with ace-7 is thin but defensible. He has bottom pair, an overcard, and backdoor hearts, and he wants to keep his range uncapped for later streets. Stanley's call with Jack-10 is mandatory. He has the best improvement potential with the open-ender and position. The turn ace changes the incentive structure completely. Keating now holds aces and queens, and, out of position in a multi-way pot, checking is superior. Betting announces strength, repels worse, and makes it easy for a better ace like ace-king to play perfectly against him. By checking, he allows weaker aces and floats to fire or show down worse. Peter quietly improves to 2-pair, and he should notice how clean his value targets are. Aces that didn't connect with the king or queen, plus stubborn kings that hate folding. But checking has logic too. He controls the pot and traffic and preserves bluffs for the river. Stanley's check is the costly one. With Jack 10, he owns the nuts on a paired board that still grants him clear value from top pairs and combo draws. Letting it check through surrenders value and protection, and it exposes him to exactly what happens next. The board pairs again, and his straight gets stone dead. The river double pairs the ace and reorders the hierarchy. Keating upgrades to aces full of queens, Peter lands on aces full of sevens, and Stanley is drawing thin to chatter.
And this is going to get very nasty for Peter. Maybe Stanley also, but especially Peter.
Checks from Keating and the original raiser are invitations. Peter accepts with a big bet that targets trip aces and missed draws and tries to dodge raises from the few better full houses. Stanley correctly folds once the ace pairs again, straights are dust. Keating's river decision should lean exploitative here. Against Peter, who routinely overplays strong one-pair and boat combos, a value raise prince. Keating's hand is under-repped, he blocks the most common equal boat with the queen. Peter's turn check makes ace-king less likely, and Texas Mike is capped after check-check.
Did he just call? He just called.